Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ford F-150 Tremor, and this is the package on the Tremor that I think is the best to go for because it's the more affordable Tremor. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork, Utah for giving me some time with this Tremor. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Kellen. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town, and then 20 on the highway with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque. You can also now get a 5-liter V8 in the Tremor as well. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see you've got these really muscular lines there on either side, and then with the Tremor package you get the cool venting as well. Now coming down below, you guys can see here with the daytime running lights and the LED headlamps, and then look at the gold trim here on the front end with the Ford logo. There's a camera just down below the logo. We've got parking sensors here at the bottom, then we've got those gold tow hooks as well. And then you guys can see here with the fog lights, I think those look great. Now we do have skid plate protection underneath with the Tremor package, and the stated ground clearance is 10.9 inches, which is quite impressive. And putting it all together, I think this is one of the best looking F-150s out there. Now coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275/70/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see here with the wheels, metallic gray, and just look how aggressive those all-terrain tires are. Now this particular Tremor does have the Torsen limited slip differential added to the front end of the truck. And then on top of that, with the Tremor package, you have monotube shocks here in the front, and then you've got twin tube there in the back. The Tremor is slightly lifted, and it does have a wider track compared to a regular F-150 as well. Really cool there with the fenders. Then we have our F-150 Tremor badge right here. And then notice how the mirrors actually match the window trim, but then the door handles are body painted. And then we have the Raptor style side steps here on the side. And then here's a look at that rear shock setup, and then you guys can see the Tremor still does utilize leaf springs. And then here's our full side view on the F-150 Tremor. With that lift and that wider track, it looks really good. So here's a key fob for the Tremor. We have our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, and the drop down for the tailgate, as well as the Ford logo there on the back. Popping into the bed, we have a payload capacity of 1,720 pounds, and you guys can see here we've got some outlet action. Now this one doesn't have bed liner from the factory, but something you can add if you want. And then this one actually does not even have the tailgate step, so I wonder if this is automatic up. No, it's not, so you gotta lift it up yourself, but it's really light. And you guys can see we've got the more baseline taillights here also. Look at that Tremor decal, and then there's the Tremor badge here on the back end. And then we do have parking sensors here on the rear, and look at the exhaust tips here at the Tremor. Really cool look, and you got the recovery hooks as well. And finishing things up with the outside, I do want to mention that the Tremor tows just like a regular F-150. It still has leaf springs, still has all the same stuff. And so unlike the Raptor, you won't giving up a bunch of stuff when it comes to capability to get off-road capability, if that makes sense. Now popping inside, you guys can see that gold theme continues here under the door panel, and look at the gray trim. And then I love this little insert piece right there as well. And then tons of storage here on the door panel. And then again, got those Raptor style side steps. Now here are the seats. So these are the more baseline seats you can get with the Tremor. I think they look really cool with the print there in the center. Then look at, again, the gold stitching here. I think the seats look very sharp overall. And then you've got a flat loading floor underneath. Legroom back here is fantastic. We've got a little storage pocket here, some cup holders, we've got some vents here, and a bunch of charging ports as well. And then headroom back here is also really good. Now taking a look at the front door panel here, you guys can see again with all of the stitching. All of our window controls, front two are automatic. We've got our mirror adjustments here, door lock and unlock, and then look at the trim again. It looks so sweet. This one does have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then again, tons of storage. I love the design here at the front seats. Notice Tremor yet again, and then you guys can see the design all down the center portion. We do have our power adjustments here on the side as well. And then we've got our parking brake here, light controls, you've got the mirror lights, steering wheel is manually adjustable, and then look at the gold American flag right there. Now here's our steering wheel with the Tremor. You guys can see the padding all around, and then look at the stitching there on the center portion. We do have practical controls here on the front of the steering wheel, so like your controls for center stack, phone controls, volume controls, voice command controls. This does come with adaptive cruise control. And then we do have our turn signal windshield wiper stock. Now here's our center gauge clutch. You can see mostly analog, but we do have that screen there in the center, which we can use to scroll through different bits of info on the truck, like fuel economy, for example. So pretty straightforward. And then we do have a bunch of different drive modes here with the Tremor. So you can see kind of like our practical on-road modes and sport mode. And on the other side, we've got kind of like our off-road modes here with the Tremor package. Now we do have a 360 camera system, so you guys can see trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel with the backup view, and then we got the bird's eye view, and then we can also change the viewpoint. This also has the auxiliary camera set up as well. And then if I actually just press the camera view here at the top, you can see pops on with the front camera. So pretty cool setup. And then I guess we'll go right to the infotainment system. So shortcut bar here at the bottom, really good response time with that. Notice we got the Pro Power on board, showed that a little bit earlier. And then you got the auxiliary screen here on the side. You guys know I'm a big fan of the screen. And then at the top of the screen, you guys can see for the camera button, parking sensors, hazard lights, stability control, and then it's our off-road cruise control. Of course, we got our Pro Trailer Assist. You guys can see trailer brake controls and their driveline select. No 4-wheel auto on this. Do have the rear locking differential. Like I said, this one has the Torsen front end. And then you got your drive mode select built into that. And then we've got our climate controls and radio controls in this area. Dual zone climate with this one. Heated seats as well. And then we got a little storage area right here. And then here's our shifter for that 10-speed automatic. It does with the plus and minus, so you can shift the gears yourself. Got the manual mode, got the shifter fold down, and then some cup holders right next to it. And then we've got the standard center console, which massive. I do like the gold stitching on top of that, though. I think that looks pretty sweet. And then look at the front of the glove box. It's got the cool trim that's on the door panel. I think that looks very, very good. Anyways, you can see double glove box set up, and then look at like the dash on top of that. And then up top here, we do have all of our auxiliary switches, all 6 of them. And then something to note is the rear glass is fixed. So here's our window sticker for this Tremor. So this is a 401A. Base price is $61,000. Now here are the options. Again, I do recommend you get the Torsen differential. It's just trust me, it's worth it. Anyways, total MSRP on this one, $67,115. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And Tremor away, or do we have to say Twema? No, just kidding. That's for the well, let me get this out of the way as I show you guys the 360 camera system and the benefits of it in a tight parking lot. That's what we call the Maverick Tremor. So you don't call it a Maverick Tremor, you call it a Maverick Twema. You have to say it that way because it's the little one, right? And then I guess we've got the Ranger. So man, I don't really know. So I guess this one's the Tremor because, well, it's the big one, and I guess the Ranger Tremor is just the Ranger Tremor. And then you have the Maverick Twema. There we go. That's your Tremor lesson for the day. But regardless, if I do have time, and this will be funny if I'm putting this in this video that's also in the comparison video. If I do have time today, I will do a comparison video with the Raptor versus this Tremor today, so you guys can see the differences with that. And I'll probably use this driving footage for both videos. Look at that, 2 GTIs right next to each other. Same color. Oh no, one's white, one's silver, never mind. But first, setting off here in the Tremor, I like the seat comfort actually. These base seats are really comfortable, honestly. Now the upgraded leather seats are a little bit more comfortable, but I don't think that you would have any complaints if you went for these seats. And they still have lumbar. You can't move it up or down, it looks like, but you can move it in and it's lumbar, so you can move it in and out. Duh, right? But yeah, so far, so good. And just like other F-150s, it has that like lightweight, comfy feel that I feel like the new F-150 is kind of known for at this point. I just did a comparison with all 3 of the big truck brands the other day, and that was one of the big differences. It's just how this feels more car-like, and the Tremor still has that feel. Yeah, it's so smooth. Now having leaf springs still, you do get a little bit of bounce in the back end. I feel like more than a regular F-150. So definitely, I guess, take that into account. And we'll see how the 3.5 performs with these 33s. Woo! Yeah, it gets it going a little bit there. Yeah, it's quick. That wasn't even full throttle. That's the impressive part. This EcoBoost is such a good engine. I've had a lot of people ask me about the 5.0 Tremor. I still haven't reviewed one. I just don't know if anyone's going to order one here in Utah. That's the problem. I don't know if dealers are allowed to order them, and you know, nobody's messaged me so far saying that they've ordered a Tremor and they want me to go, or ordered a 5.0 Tremor and they want me to go film it yet. So once it happens, I'll film one. But I've driven the 5.0 F-150 and I can tell you the EcoBoost is just faster. So summing things up with the Tremor drive. Also, I forgot to mention this has trail turn assist. Should have mentioned that in the walk around. Sorry about that, guys. I think this is a great truck. I think that this is the truck for 95% of people. I think that way too many people buy Raptors that shouldn't buy Raptors, if that makes sense, because this is just a better truck. Like, it can do all the same towing and hauling as the regular F-150, and it's still extremely capable off-road. You have to remember, this has almost 11 inches of ground clearance. It's got a Torsen differential. It's got big tires. Like, this will go all of the places that Raptor owners take their trucks off-road that actually take their trucks off-road, which is a very, very small amount. So, and the other thing is going to be the market. Like, these are already less expensive from an MSRP perspective compared to Raptors, but then the market value is also going to be quite a bit lower, because Raptors, I mean, the used ones are still going for over MSRP. So that is the Tremor. Let me know what you guys think about the F-150 Tremor, and if you would go this version of the Tremor, or if you'd go the more loaded up version. So what would be the, I already forgot the first designation. So this is the 01A. Would you go for the 02A is what I'm trying to ask.